And good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to knockout qualifying for race number 8 of the season here at the paperclip short track of Martinsville Speedway. And I just noticed there's a train in the background. I've never seen that train before. Huh. What do you know? Anyway, we're getting ready here for knockout qualifying as there are 19 drivers qualifying for 7 available spots here in this week's main event. 2 drivers are making their debuts here, trying to make their debuts anyway. And 1 driver is a new driver down in the outside the top 35, and that is the 46 of Chris Dowd. You can see all the drivers on the top left that are taking part in today's Knockout Q event. Only 5 minutes on the clock, and you're looking right now at one of the newest drivers in the series. This is Johnny Gardner, driving the number 12 Dodge Dart for Young Motorsports. Young Motorsports moving to a 3-car team now. And Johnny's trying to make his debut in Hersheys Cup Series competition. We also have another debuting driver. I'm not certain if he's on track yet or not. There he is. The 01 of Zach Flickinger, driving with U.S. Army sponsoring his Chevrolet. Both he and Johnny Gardner trying to make their debuts, as are Matt McIntyre and Brandon Gonzalez, as they failed to make the race at Infineon last week. And there is Chris Dowd, who fell outside the top 35 in points. Dylan Young moved into the top 35 in points after last week's race at Infineon. So for the first time this season, Chris Dowd finds himself in jeopardy of maybe not making his 8th straight start in the Hersheys Cup Series. Right now, the fastest on track is Johnny Gardner. Then it's Brandon Gonzalez, Kyle Matthews, Michael Norman, Joshua Michaels. And I'm not even going to go down the list because it's going to keep changing just about every lap. So we'll keep an eye here on the 46, see what kind of lap times he lays down. Right now, 3 drivers would be en route to making their debuts: Gardner, Flickinger, and Gonzalez. 10th fastest right now for Chris Dowd. As the fastest on track right now is Joshua Michaels in the 10. And now Michael Norman with a 20.099. His time by a faster lap, but only 9th quickest right now for Chris Dowd, as there is the fastest on track, a 20.092, 7 1,000ths faster than Michael Norman is Joshua Michaels. And Brandon Gonzalez just topped that with a 20.067. There he is, the Mitsubishi Lancer, trying to make his debut into the Hersheys Cup Series. Right now, it would be Gonzalez. Chris Dowd just jumped up to 2nd. Then it would be Qualls, Michaels, Norman, Fitzwater, and Gardner who would transfer it. But there's still a little over a minute left in this session. Still plenty of time for somebody to make some kind of a move. And Michael Norman just ran the fastest lap with a 20.054. Still, the top 7 remain the same of the drivers that would transfer. Sean Galligan is on the outside looking in, as is Flickinger, as is Kyle Matthews. See if anybody would jump up into the top 7 here. That would displace Johnny Gardner and Sean Galligan. Top of the board, and just got beat out by Joshua Michaels just now. Cody Lamas just jumped in. So now Johnny Gardner and Zachary Fitzwater are both currently outside the top 7. James Qualls is now in the transfer slot. Seth Cole jumped up to 8th. And now James Qualls is out as Dallas McIntosh just jumped up to 7th fastest. Seth Cole just knocked out McIntosh as he jumped up to 6th fastest. And Cody Lamas, with almost a flat 22nd lap, jumps to the top of the leaderboard. So now it's Chris Dowd in the danger zone in 17th, and now he just jumped to the top of the leaderboard, 19.993. Holy cow. And Brandon Gonzalez just got knocked out of the top 8 as Qualls moved up into the top 7. Good Lord, 19.993. I didn't even know drivers could hit that kind of a lap. And the session's complete. It'll be Chris Dowd, Cody Lamas, Joshua Michaels, Seth Cole, Sean Galligan, Michael Norman, and James Qualls will take the final transfer spot. But my goodness, what a lightning fast lap time for Chris Dowd. Session's over, and our 7 drivers to transfer, as I said, will be Chris Dowd. That is an amazing lap time. Cody Lamas 2nd, Joshua Michaels 3rd, Seth Cole 4th, Sean Galligan 5th, Michael Norman 6th, James Qualls 7th. Those 7 will transfer into the main event. Drivers who did not qualify include Brandon Gonzalez, Dallas McIntosh, Johnny Gardner, Zachary Fitzwater, Grayson Acquavito, Stephen Pollard III. That's a tough break for him, as he was on a quest to try and get into the top 35 in points. He won't make the show. Zach Flickinger will not make his debut. Kyle Matthews, 2nd straight week that he will miss the race. Sam McMillan, Austin Geit, Matt McIntyre will have to wait another week to make his debut. And John Cittadino fails to make the show as well. So 7 drivers transfer in are Dowd, Lamas, Michaels, Cole, Galligan, Norman, and Qualls. Now that we know the 7 drivers that transfer in, let's get ready now for the main event here today at Martinsville. Welcome here to our 8th race of the season of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series at the paperclip short track of Martinsville. We are getting ready for 75 laps of racing in the STP 500. Starting on the pole position today is Jessica Shelton. Certainly a far cry from where she started last week's race in Infineon. Last week she started dead last. Starts on point for today's event. One thing I do want to quickly mention is I was planning on changing paint schemes, but this is being recorded on a Friday. Friday is the day that I have the least amount of time to be able to do anything in the morning. So, in order to get the race even recorded, I had to skip over doing the swapping of paint schemes. They will be swapped over once we go next week to Talladega Super Speedway. But anyway, let's concentrate on Martinsville here today, a track that usually doesn't bring out a lot of super high-octane racing as far as passing is concerned, but can be more of a race of pit strategy. And these drivers are more than likely going to have to pit at least once during the course of today's 75-lap event. So as I mentioned, on the pole is Jessica Shelton. Let's go through our top 10 as usual. Shelton will start on her first pole of the season. Alongside of her, Jake Baskinger, who last week just moved back up into the top 10 in points, comes into this race 10th in the standings. Row 2 is going to be comprised of Noah Kars and Anthony McCrory, both still looking for their first wins of the season. Then you got Austin LaPlante. He'll line up in the 5th position, still trying to work his way back into the top 10. Driver who was in the top 10 actually make that top 5. Rocco Twyman will start to his outside. Rocco Twyman comes into this race 3rd in the point standings, and he has been on a huge momentum streak as of right now. Still looking, though, for that first win of the season. Then you got Sean Galligan, qualified his way into today's event. The Geico Chevrolet still trying to make his way into the top 35 in points. And alongside of him is Benjamin Miles, who last week, for the 2nd time in 3 weeks, ended up finishing 2nd place to Joshua Circuli. But he's had 2 second-place finishes this season, and that second-place run last week helped move him up further in the point standings. And then you've got Jeremy Jones in the 18. Jeremy Jones has actually worked his way up to 9th in points now, and he'll start off alongside of his teammate Holden Gluba in the 55. Not sure if I went only through the top 8 or the top 10, but it doesn't matter. We're going to show you now the remainder of your starting lineup for today's event. The points coming into this race are as follows. Tim Walsh is now the new points leader over JT Bryant. Bryant dropped back to 2nd, 11 points out of the points lead now after Tim Walsh had a great run at Infineon and JT Bryant did not. Then you got Rocco Twyman is 3rd in points. 4th place is Kean Eddington. 5th, Pichu Lennon. James Richardson 6th. After his 2nd win of the season last week, Joshua Circuli is 7th in points now and will firmly be in control of wildcard spot number 1 if he falls out of the top 10 today. And then Joshua Lee, Jeremy Jones, and Jake Baskinger. That makes up your top 10. As we go down trackside now to get the command to fire them up here at Martinsville.
Drivers, start your engines.
Command given. The drivers will roll off. They'll complete a pace lap around here, which is a very short pace lap since this track is about 0.665, or is it 556, something like that. It's basically a half-mile racetrack, and we'll see what's going to go on in today's event at the paperclip. As far as the wildcard spot, the first wildcard spot in the chase at this current moment would be held by Ryan Acosta. He's 15th in the standings, 24 points out of a spot in the top 10. And then the second wildcard spot would go to the driver that is the highest running without a win at the current moment, because Stephen Pollard III is 37th in points and did not make the race. Here we go, though. Green flag's out. We're underway in the STP 500. Jake Baskinger got a good jump. Jumps to the lead and will clear Jessica Shelton, but Shelton battles back to the inside. Already 3 wide further back, Blake Keys put in the middle as now Shelton has to give way to Jake Baskinger. Baskinger to the point. Shelton slips back to second. Noah Cars now looking to get third place away from Anthony McCurry. He'll take it. LaPlante now fills in the gap, and he will now go to the inside looking for the 4th spot. They're 3 wide further back. That's Ryan Acosta put in the middle with Joshua Lee and William Brock. JT Bryant in this mix. This is where it can get really hairy. These drivers are going to want to settle it out to single file as soon as possible. They can hold 3 wide, but most oftentimes it's not the best strategy. It's still 3 wide with Acosta, Brock, and JT Bryant moves by for 2 positions. Dylan Poteet also going 3 wide further back with Kian Eddington and Tim Walsh. And there's Joshua Circuli right there as well. That's 3 drivers, the 33, 27, and 15, who are all inside the top 10 in points at the current moment. Tim Walsh, of course, the current points leader. Now they settle it back out to double file formation. Back up at the front. Top 5 have all gotten single file. Baskinger, Shelton, Noah Cars, LaPlante, and Sean Galligan. Now moves into the 5th position. Anthony McCurry 6th, Jeremy Jones 7th, 8th, Dylan Young, and I think the caution might be out. No, it's not. No, I thought I saw the red lights on the pit road. Whoa! Rocco Twyman just ran into the back of Mason Powers, shot him up the racetrack, and he nearly lost it. He'll lose a spot now to Carson Scott, and now here comes Joshua Lee in the 5. Battle line here. This is for position number 7. And Dylan Young will try and clear Jeremy Jones coming down to this corner. And he kind of moved Jeremy Jones up the track there, heading into 3. And Jones will have to give up 7th position. He may lose 8th to Mason Powers. I also saw JT Bryant. He's a man on a mission, and he spun out! Spun out by Holden Gluba right in front of the field. Dylan Poteet gets a piece. Tim Walsh gets involved. And the caution flag is out. JT Bryant got spun by, I believe it was Holden Gluba. Spun in front of the field. And the points leader, Tim Walsh, got a piece of it. So the top 2 in points were involved in this. The caution out for the first time today at Martinsville. Here on lap number 8. The completion of lap 8 on to lap 9. We're under yellow for the first time here today. And it looked like Dylan Poteet got a slight piece of it. I saw some drivers up against the wall, riding the wall to avoid the wreck. And now is the question of, will these drivers take the opportunity this early on to come to pit road and make their pit stop? Let's see if Baskinger makes any indication towards pit road. Doesn't appear like he is going to be coming to the pit lane under this yellow. Neither will anyone else in the top 10. So we're under caution for the first time today. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened. The top 2 in points were involved in this incident. So was heading down into turn number 1. And JT, I'm not sure if he already snapped loose and then also they got a little bit of an assistance from Galuba or what. But he goes around nonetheless right in front of Benjamin Miles. Miles gets a piece of it. There's the 31 of Poteet right there. He's going to get a piece of it with the right front. And then here comes Tim Walsh. And there's a shot right there. And wow, Walsh nearly got rear-ended by Trent Dunham. There you see Blaine Keys, Tristan Folks jumping up against the wall in order to avoid. And Levi McIntyre lost a ton of positions as he had to slam on the brakes to avoid running into the back of JT Bryant. Now Tim Walsh came to pit road that lap to get his car repaired. He's returned back to the racetrack. I'm not certain if he is caught a lap down or not. We'll find that out in just a moment. JT Bryant, I believe, has just come to pit road himself. So we'll see where our top 2 in points are situated once we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Who knows? Rocco Twyman, with where he's running right now, he may end up leaving Martinsville as the points leader, depending how the rest of this race plays out. The lights are out atop the pace car. We'll go back green. Top 10 as we'll go back green are Jake Baskinger, pole sitter Jessica Shelton, Noah Cars, Austin Platt, Sean Galligan, Anthony McCurry, Dylan Young, Mason Powers, Carson Scott, and Jeremy Jones. There is Tim Walsh, 41st. JT Bryant, 42nd. Bryant, I believe, will be 41st when they cross the line. Tim Walsh, 42nd. Yes, so the top 2 in points are still running, but they are both at the very tail end of the field. So all 42 cars are still running and still on the lead lap. Green flag comes back out here on lap 14. Best battle on track going on there for the 6th position. Mason Powers looking 3 wide under Dylan Young, Anthony McCurry. McCurry will keep the spot. Now Mason Powers will try and take 7th place from Dylan Young. Drives it deep into the corner and will clear Dylan Young for that position. Dylan Young now back to 8th. But he's going to try and fight again on the outside line. It's not going to work for him, though. That brings Carson Scott to the inside, and Carson Scott's going to look for a position as Cooper Cyron in the 19 is on pit road. Not certain if this is a regularly scheduled stop for him or not. Tim Walsh was also just on the pit lane. And Cooper Cyron will now fall off the lead lap, and I think Tim Walsh is back on pit road again. Yes, he is. Tim Walsh, I think, is just trying to log laps right now. The car obviously badly damaged. He pulls into his pit stall again. They'll try and work on his machine once more. So a tough start to the day for the points leader, Tim Walsh. He'll go another lap down as Jake Baskinger powers around the outside line. Shelton there in 2nd place. Noah Cars, this is his best run so far this season. Running there in the 3rd position. Austin LaPlante right there in 4th. He had a bit of a struggling run last week at Infineon. And Sean Galligan, of course, we know him trying to make his way to the top 35 in the standings. Maybe with a 5th place run today, he could do just that. Tim Walsh on pit road again. This time they actually serviced the car. So we got Tim Walsh making multiple stops on pit road. What about Jake Baskinger? Or make that, not Jake Baskinger, JT Bryant. He's actually fighting his way through the field. It's up to 38th. He just passed Daniel Bouchard. He's gotten by Charles Sanford, now working on Levi McIntyre. Now the driver those two have to worry about is the 11 of Rocco Twyman, who at this time is not inside the top 10. He's battling right now with James Qualls. That would be, I believe, for the 13th position. So at the moment, Rocco Twyman's got himself in a very good spot to potentially, I'm not going to say he is going to, but potentially take the points lead over headed next week at Dega. Let's find out where the rest of the top 5 in points are currently running. I see Kian Eddington, 4th in points, running back here. He's 18th on the running order right now. And I do not see the 21 of Pichu London 5th in points. That's because he's mired way back here, 35th. So the one right now looks like he would take advantage of the misfortunes of JT Bryant and Tim Walsh. Could very well be that 11 car of Rocco Twyman, as I believe Pichu London just got a piece of the wall there off of turn 2. JT Bryant tried to take that spot away from him. JT just making the best of what he's got. A damaged machine, but it's up to speed apparently, and he's made his way past 3 cars, make it 4 cars now on track. So fighting and digging is JT Bryant. How about last week's winner, Joshua Circuli? The only multiple-time winner in this series so far, winning at Bristol and last week at Infineon. Right now, he's scored in the 21st position. Now, ideally, Circuli wants to remain in the top 10 in points. But if he can't do that, those 2 victories he's got are certainly going to help him. And the fact that he would be in line for wild card spot number 1 if he fell out of the top 10. And we have a caution. Second caution of the day is out. And now the leaders will be pitting. So here comes the interesting factor, the pit strategy. They'll pit on lap 28. Will anyone risk it? Maybe go with fuel only. Go with 2 tires rather than a 4-tire stop. That's the big question. We're going to keep our camera on Jake Baskinger, just based on the fact that, much like Bristol, it's very difficult to get a good camera angle of the race off of pit road. So we'll follow the driver who came in scored as the leader. So they go around to the left side. Looks like everybody will go with a 4-tire stop. Baskinger down and away. Wins the battle off pit road. Noah Kars comes out in 2nd. And then they show LaPlante coming out 3rd, Shelton 4th, and Galligan 5th. Although I think Shelton beat LaPlante out, and indeed she did. So LaPlante came out 4th, and Galligan came out in 5th. So Jake Baskinger, he will still be the leader. He's another driver trying to become a multiple-time winner this season. He won the 2nd race of the season at Rockingham, UK, let's not forget. And he leads the way here. We're almost to the midway point. Let's see what the caution flag came out for the 2nd time today. I'm seeing some rear-end damage to the back of the 4 of Daniel Bouchard. Maybe he can give us an idea of why we are under our 2nd caution at Martin. Well, here's what happened. Teammates are going to get together, heading down into this corner. Benjamin Miles tried swinging around the outside line, but he did not clear the right rear of his teammate Ryan Madden, and just hooks him around and spins him in front of the field. Ooh, Chris Dowd. Close call there for the 46. The new livery on his Chevrolet for CJ Racing, now sponsored by Sharpie after he had to race his way into today's event via knockout qualifying. But that's what put us under the caution. A couple of teammates getting together there, and the 88 looping around in front of the field. So we're under yellow. Let's get ready to go back for our 2nd restart. As we restart, the interesting question will be, these drivers came down pit road on lap 28. Will they have to pit again? That's the big question. 2 drivers will lap to the inside line off the lead lap. Cooper Cyron had to make an unscheduled pit stop. That dropped him off the lead lap. And, of course, Tim Walsh has been to pit row multiple times. Top 10 as we go back to green. It's Baskinger, Kars, Shelton, Austin LaPlante, Sean Galligan, Then McCrory, Powers, Jeremy Jones, Dylan Young, and Carson Scott, green flag, back out here at Martinsville. And Cooper Cyron wants his lap back, and Noah Cars is going to go up the middle. Oh, that's a risky maneuver there by the 42, but he wants to win his first race of the season. And Cooper Cyron's going to leave the door open as he goes to the inside of Baskinger. This is to put the 19 back on the tail end of the lead lap, but it also could open the door for Noah Cars to fill the gap and try to take the lead. LaPlante just moved by Jessica Shelton. That was for the third position. McCrory just moved by Galligan for fifth. And, oh, here comes Noah Cars, peeking to the inside, side by side for the lead. And Noah Cars has the advantage for the moment. Cody Lamas is on pit road, and he just has returned to the racetrack. A couple other drivers were just on pit road. Michael Norman and John Arndt. And the new leader of the race is Noah Cars in the 42. The Seattle Seahawks Chevrolet leads the way. LaPlante now moves to second place. And there was almost some contact back there between the now lap machine of Cody Lamas and Dylan Young. They settle it out though. We're still green, and Jake Baskinger, in the matter of a couple of laps, falls from first back to third place. Noah Cars now leads the way. LaPlante to second. Baskinger third. McCrory now looking for fourth place off of Jessica Shelton. Sean Galligan in that mix as well, along with Jeremy Jones. And you gotta wonder, the 19 made an unscheduled pit stop a little bit earlier on in this race. The 20 is a teammate to him out of Joe Gibbs Racing. Was there some similar issue that caused both of them to have to make unscheduled stops? But then that wouldn't account for why Michael Norman and John Arndt were both on pit road. As McCrory moves into fourth, Galligan now trying to take the fifth position. And look who's up in the top 10. None other than Rocco Twyman in the 11. Running between his Joe Gibbs Racing teammates. He's got two teammates ahead, Cody Lamas, Jeremy Jones. Got a teammate behind in old Holden Gluba. And right now running the 8th position as Rocco Twyman is trying to take the points lead away from the poor showings currently by JT Bryant and Tim Walsh. He'll move by his teammate Jeremy Jones. That's for the 7th position. Meanwhile, up ahead, Noah Cars has the machine. Oh, there's another machine ahead. That's Pichu London. Did London have to make a pit stop as well? I wonder if these drivers, like the 21, the 3, the 24, the 20, I wonder if maybe they are expecting this thing to go green the rest of the way and they just made their final pit stop. Some drivers like to pit early and run it to the finish. Other drivers like to run it out of fuel and then come to pit road. And we may be seeing those two different strategies collide. However, the last thing that London, Lamas, Norman, and Arndt want to see is a third caution flag, because then that would trap them a lap down and there'd be no way of recovery. And for a moment there, I thought Austin LaPlante might be thinking about coming for pit road, and the caution is out! The caution is out! That's going to end the hopes of London, Norman, Arndt, and Lamas. They'll get trapped a lap down, and Cooper Cyron is back on the tail end of the lead lap. He managed to race his way back on to the tail end of the lead lap, and now a third caution flag could throw into question now whether these drivers will be wanting to make their final pit stop of the day. I don't know if pit road was just open or not, or if it will be open this next time around, so I don't want to just yet go and look at the replay of our third yellow flag, just in case these drivers are indeed going to be coming to pit road under these pacing laps. Next time hitting the stripe, there's 30 laps to go. Their first round of pit stops was on lap 28, so we know they can make it somewhere around 30 laps. So right now would be the perfect opportunity to make that final pit stop if they need to make it, and it doesn't look like they are coming down pit road for any fuel this time. So therefore, we will step aside, we will take a look at a replay of what our third caution of the day is out for here at Martinsville. And this was going to involve Chris Dowd in the 46, who came into this race outside the top 35 in the point standings. This is not what he needed, especially late into the race. Almost similar to what we saw happen between Benjamin Miles and his teammate Ryan Madden. Tristan Folks gets Chris Dowd in the right rear, and then gets pancaked up into the wall as the 46 slides up there in turn number 1. So that's what puts us under the caution for the third time today. This one involving Tristan Folks and Chris Dowd. The last thing Chris Dowd wants to do is have to try a qualifying knockout queue next week at Talladega as well. So he's definitely going to have to use this last potential green flag run to pick up as many spots as he can on the racetrack. So, red or yellow for the third time here today at Martinsville. Noah Carr's out in front. Let's go back for the restart and see how many laps we'll have left in today's event. The leader, Noah Carr's, just got the signal. One more lap to go. We're going to have a number of drivers on the inside line trapped a lap down, including Cody Lamas, Michael Norman, John Arndt, Pichu London, and Tim Walsh. We have one driver that has retired from the race, and that was Ryan Madden, which surprises me. Ryan Madden didn't really have that much damage after he was spun out by his teammate Benjamin Miles. Maybe there was something internally wrong with that machine that we don't know about. Top 10, as we go back green, it's Noah Carr's, Austin LaPlante, Jake Baskinger, Anthony McCrory, and Sean Galligan. Then it's Shelton, Twyman, Jones, Gluba, and James Richardson. How about Joe Gibbs Racing? That has been a team that really has put together some great runs with their drivers the last couple of weeks. Right now they're running 7th, 8th, and 9th place. Cody Lamas, one of their teammates, is a lap down right now. The first car 1 lap down. Currently scored in the, well, that's not going to help us, the 37th position. Their other teammate, Cooper Cyron, just raced his way back out of the tail end of the lead lap. And Noah Carr's has checked out. He's got a lap machine between himself and Austin LaPlante, and then it's 2 lap machines, make it 3 lap machines back to the 3rd place driver right now, Jake Baskinger, who may lose that spot as they're trying to get around the 15 of Tim Walsh. Jeremy Jones, Sean Galligan, Anthony McCurry, they're all blockaded up here, and they're 3 wide. Look at Daniel Voiles. Where did Voiles come from? The 26 has jumped up into the top 10 from out of absolute nowhere. He just bypassed Holden Gluba and Sean Galligan, move him up to the 6th position. And now he's trying to take 5th place away from Anthony McCrory. And how about last week's winner? Joshua Circuli has worked his way up here. He's now looking for a position off of Richardson. I believe that's for the 12th spot, now to the inside of Shelton. That's for 10th. Fighting tooth and nail here at the front of the field for every position they can get. And right there, Daniel Voiles is the car that's impressing me. We haven't talked about him all day. He's now moved by Jake Baskinger. The 26 is up to the 4th position. Jeremy Jones, how about the driver of the 18? Came into this race 9th in the standings, and he'll definitely stay in the top 10 in points as he runs in the top 3. LaPlante has to get around Cody Lamas before he can even think about challenging for the lead from Noah Carr's. And I can guarantee you, right now, the last thing Noah Carr's wants to see is the flagman in the stand waving a yellow flag over his hood. Because the situation at the moment is perfect for Noah Carr's with an up-to-speed lap machine between himself and Austin LaPlante. The question is, though, are these drivers good to go on fuel? They've only come to pit road once during the course of this race. That was back during the 2nd caution on lap 28. That was 30 laps ago. And we still have roughly 18 laps left in this race. So that'd be about 48 laps that they'd have to make on 1 tank of fuel. I don't know if they can make it the rest of the way or not. That information was not disclosed to me. Only they and their pit crew and their crew chief know the answer. And now, well, I was just about to say we now know the answer, but apparently the 42 was just moving down to the left on the back straightaway to set up his entry into 3, but it looked like he was coming to pit road. LaPlante also ran the similar line. Let's see if they do that again. Not nearly as low this time into 3. Maybe just experimenting with the fastest way around the racetrack? I don't know. But Noah Cars right now is the man of the hour. He's the man to beat. And he was able to get around Jake Baskinger earlier on with an assist to the 19 of Cooper Cyron, who was battling Jake Baskinger to get back on the tail end of the lead lap. Baskinger has fallen back to the 5th position. Still green. That's got to make Noah Cars very, very happy. But the big question is fuel. Can they make it the rest of the way? Doesn't matter. Caution flag out for the 4th time today at Martinsville. And now, if you thought a monkey wrench was going to be thrown into this race, well, I think we just had a big one thrown in just now. And Noah Cars is not going to come to pit road. And I'm pretty certain pit road was open that time. So the big question of whether these drivers could make it the rest of the way on fuel or not, I think was just answered. Another interesting factor is, will these drivers be restarting with less than 10 to go? If that's the case, it will not be a double file restart with the lap machines on the inside. So LaPlante may restart this race with Cody Lamas between himself and Noah Cars. Let's see if the leaders will come to pit road this time. If not, we will go back and look at the replay of what put us under this yellow flag. And they are not going to come to pit road. So they apparently can make it the rest of the way on fuel. They may be able to save some fuel here under these pacing laps as well. Let's take a look at what put us under the caution for the 4th time here today at Martinsville Speedway. Well, this one took place a little bit closer up to the front of the field. This was a battle for the 13th position. Pole sitter Jessica Shelton, Sean Galligan. We've seen this time and time again. Our 2nd and 3rd caution came out for this very reason. And Galligan hooks Shelton in the right rear. Turns her up the racetrack. And the yellow flag comes out once again. Oh, wow, there was another car back there. Carson Scott that slammed the wall. What happened with the 38? So rewind it and take a look. Oh, he just lost it. Just loses it going into turn 1. Right there. Car wants to turn right on him. He jerks it back to the left. And up and hard into the outside wall goes the Great Clip Chevrolet. Man. And he's going to lose a ton of positions as a result of that. So Jessica Shelton, the pole sitter, who was running at the time in the 13th position, spins. And Carson Scott loses it in turn 1. And that's what puts us under the caution for the 3rd time here today at Martinsville. And whoa, there was almost another wreck there. JT Bryant almost wrecked Jessica Shelton coming out of 2. So we're under yellow. Let's go back for the restart, see how many laps we have left for the finish of today's race at Martinsville. Getting ready to go back to green. The pace car is already peeled off. Green flag back out. We've got a total of 8 laps to go here today at Martinsville. Noah Cars, Austin LaPlante, Jeremy Jones, Daniel Voiles, Jake Baskinger. That's the top 5 amongst the number of lap machines in this field. And Noah Cars, something else just worked out perfectly for him. A battle going on between John Arndt, a lap machine, and Austin LaPlante, which could potentially put 2 lap cars between himself and the 2nd place driver of the 51. At at the stripe. 6 laps to go. They're probably going to be the longest 6 laps of Noah Carr's life. He would love to see the checkered flag as soon as possible. And a car is on pit road. That was Jessica Shelton. The 02 was on pit road, so a bad day turns worse as she had to come to pit road. Don't know if that was regularly scheduled or not. The race is coming close to an end anyway, so not certain how many more laps there would be of bad luck for that 02 team anyway. But Noah Carr's 4 laps to go here at Martinsville. If the caution flag were to come out now, the race would probably end under yellow. But Noah Carr's wants to finish this thing out. He has over a 1.5-second lead over Austin LaPlante, who is still in a fight with John Art. That is not for position. As a matter of fact, LaPlante better be careful. Well, maybe not, because Daniel Voiles is boxed in by 2 more lap machines. The 21 of London, the 3 of Michael Norman. So LaPlante's not in much jeopardy of losing second place. 2 laps to go here at Martinsville. This has actually been a very typical Martinsville race. It hasn't been a wreck fest, which to me is quite surprising. This is one of the few times at Martinsville where I've actually been quite pleased with the result of the race. It's been very realistic. White flag was just displayed for the Seattle Seahawks, number 42 of Noah Carr's, who is going to become the 7th different race winner this season in the Hersheys Cup Series out of 4 for the final time. Noah Carr's captures the STP 500 at Martinsville. Great run there for the 42 team. The move of the race, you go back to when Cooper Cyron was battling to get back on the lead lap with Jake Baskinger. Noah Carr's filled the hole and took the lead, never looked back. That was the moment that won Noah Carr's this race. Race standings should be official as everyone crossed the stripe. What an interesting race here today at Martinsville. Noah Carr's will pick up the victory. I'm not certain where he came into this race in points, but it'll be interesting to see where after this win it situates him. Austin LaPlante, best finish of the season in 2nd. Daniel Voiles, talk about charging through the field. That Mercedes-Benz was on fire near the end of this race. He'll get 3rd. Jeremy Jones will remain in the top 10 in points, came in 9th in points, finishes 4th, and Jake Baskinger led some laps today, lost the lead to Noah Carr's, but still finishes out the day in a solid 5th place run. He'll also remain in the top 10 in points. Joshua Lee, he'll also stay in the top 10 in points. We never talked about him much today, but he finishes 7th behind Anthony McCrory. That's another great run for the 61 team. Holden Gluba will finish the day out in 8th. James Richardson, who came in 6th in points, he'll finish in 9th. And Dylan Young will finish out the day in the 10th position. As far as the other drivers who came into this race, top 10 in points, Joshua Circuli, our winner last week at Infineon, our 2-time winner of the season, finished the day out in 12th place. Kian Eddington finished in 14th. He actually finished ahead of Rocco Twyman, who finished down in the 19th position. Now, as you look further down here, you got to go a ways down before you find the drivers who were running well in points that found hardships here today, including Pichu London, 5th in points, finishing a lap down in 38th. Where did JT Bryant finish? He finished 29th today. Tim Walsh finished way down, 11 laps off the lead lap in the 41st position. And if my calculations are correct, I believe JT Bryant may have taken the points lead back by 1 point. Yes, I believe that is the case. He took the points lead back by 1 point over Tim Walsh and next week at Talladega. So, points are still awfully close atop the standings, and it'll be interesting to see now where Noah Carr's fits into all of this. Is he up inside the top 10 in points now, or is he in line for a wild card position? Thank you all so much for watching today's race here at Martinsville. Noah Carr's is your winner. We'll head next week to the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway for some Super Speedway racing for the first time since the season opener at Daytona. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.